Story 1. The Bell Witch Haunting. In the early 19th century, the Bell family of Adams, Tennessee, became the victims of one of the most famous hauntings in American history. The Bell Witch Haunting is a tale that has terrified and fascinated generations. John Bell, the head of the family, was a prosperous farmer. In 1817, strange occurrences began to plague the Bell household. It started with noises, unexplained knocking on doors and walls, the sounds of chains dragging, and eerie whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. The disturbances soon escalated to physical assaults. John and his daughter Betsy were the primary targets. Betsy experienced brutal attacks, with her hair being pulled, and she was often slapped and pinched by invisible hands. The entity, which came to be known as the Bell Witch, communicated with the family. It spoke in a disembodied voice and claimed to be the spirit of Kate Batts, a neighbor who believed John Bell had cheated her in a land deal. The witch harbored a particular hatred for John and vowed to kill him. Word of the haunting spread, attracting the attention of curious locals and even General Andrew Jackson, who later became the President of the United States. Jackson visited the Bell home with some of his men, but they too experienced the witch's wrath. After a night of terrifying encounters, Jackson and his party fled, with Jackson purportedly saying he would rather face the entire British Army than spend another night with the Bell Witch. The hauntings continued for years, growing more violent and disruptive. The witch's presence became a constant, malevolent force in the Bell household. In 1820, John Bell fell ill, and his condition rapidly deteriorated. He slipped into a coma and died. After his death, a mysterious vial of black liquid was found. The witch claimed to have poisoned John, and when some of the liquid was given to the family cat, it died instantly. After John Bell's death, the witch's activity diminished, but never completely ceased. Betsy Bell called off her engagement to a local boy, as the witch had demanded. The witch told the family she would return in 7 years, which she did, but her visits were brief and less intense. The Bell Witch Haunting remains one of the most well-documented cases of a haunting in American history. To this day, the land where the Bell farm once stood is considered to be haunted, and the story of the Bell Witch continues to be a source of fear and intrigue. Story 2. The Enfield Poltergeist. In 1977, the Hodgson family, living in a modest council house in Enfield, North London, experienced a series of terrifying events that would become known as the Enfield Poltergeist. The story centers around Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children, particularly her 11-year-old daughter, Janet. The strange occurrences began in August when Peggy heard loud noises coming from Janet's room. When she went to investigate, she found a heavy chest of drawers moving by itself. Peggy pushed it back, but it moved again, seemingly of its own accord. The family soon started experiencing other phenomena, knocking on walls, furniture moving, and objects being thrown across rooms. The events quickly escalated. Janet began showing signs of possession, speaking in a deep, guttural voice that claimed to be a man named Bill Wilkins, who had died in the house years earlier. The voice described details of his life and death that Janet could not have known. The activity drew the attention of the media, and the house was frequently visited by journalists, paranormal investigators, and curious onlookers. Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair, 2 paranormal investigators from the Society for Psychical Research, spent long periods observing and documenting the phenomena. They witnessed objects flying through the air, levitations, and heard strange voices. The events were also captured on audio and video recordings, adding to the chilling evidence of the haunting. Skeptics, however, questioned the validity of the events, suggesting that the girls, particularly Janet, were faking the phenomena for attention. Despite these claims, many of the occurrences were witnessed by multiple credible sources, including police officers, journalists, and neighbors. The activity continued for nearly 2 years, causing significant distress to the Hodgson family. Janet was often the focal point of the phenomena, experiencing physical assaults and being levitated out of her bed. Eventually, the activity subsided, and the family was able to return to a semblance of normal life, though the experience left a lasting impact. In later years, Janet admitted that some of the occurrences had been exaggerated or fabricated, but maintained that the majority of the events were real and beyond their control. The Enfield poltergeist remains one of the most famous and controversial cases of paranormal activity, inspiring books, documentaries, and even the 2016 film, The Conjuring 2. The true nature of what happened in the Hodgson home continues to be a topic of debate and fascination.